Do 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 do. I don't want to drive 1,000 miles to Florida. No, I don't. I'd rather be flying. That's me whining. Whining. You know the comments that I see all the time about Fujifilm? And I hear about other companies as well, but you notice how like some people rush to get something done, and then it's kind of done half-assed, and they're always rushing to do something else, and everything is done, as we say in the South, half-assed, which means you're rushing to finish it so you can rush on to something else, like first. It's like, yeah, you're first, and but you didn't do a good job at it. The implementation and the execution was poor. I'm not talking about Sony, however I am. No, this is in reference to people talking about Fujifilm. I keep hearing people say that Fujifilm is lagging behind. Like, well, Sony's had that for a few years now. Well, that is wonderful for Sony. What if, perchance, and let's just hazard a theoretical here. What if, perchance, someone wanted something done right instead of first? Am I off the mark? Am I off the reservation? Oh, you're not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to say off the reservation. Everything is politically incorrect today. Nothing wrong with it, really. It's just a general term. Am I off the reservation? I say, no, I'm not. No. Do you want first, or you actually want best? Is Fujifilm kind of, as far as, you know, technology, have they been on the cutting edge of many? Well, they have been in the past, but I mean recently in digital. I mean, well, reasonably priced, extremely well made, better than anything else that costs twice as much. The GFX, I mean, their lenses are actually extremely cheap and very well made, relatively so. I mean, compared to a Zeiss or a comparable, and those aren't even autofocus lenses. I want something actually done right. There's a reason why Fujifilm is kicking ass and taking names as far as sales go, and it's not because that they were first with the 10-axis. Yeah, I know there's no such thing as 10-axis. With 20-axis sensor stabilization and you know, 10,000 autofocus points. No, there really is a psychology behind. There was a psychology behind everything. There's a psychology behind what people gravitate towards in cameras, and some things are wholly invisible when you look at it. And not only Nikon, but Fujifilm, but all of them. But I mean, specifically, since I'm referring to Fujifilm here, I mean, the invisible attributes of a camera that people don't see. I mean, if they're superficially like, well, God, the specification list on the Sony looks really nice. The Fuji is a couple of years behind, and yeah, but it's properly implemented. They give you firmware updates until the end of time, not literally, but basically. They're still doing firmware updates on the old X Pro 1. That's ridiculous. Customer service, firmware updates, build quality, reliability, not overheating. This is not about Fujifilm versus Sony, but there's a psychology behind what people see. Some people only see what they see. They go down a specification list, they press the buttons and sniff the buttons, and to them that's all that matters. Well, this has got the best specifications, this must be the best camera to buy. No, it's just got the best specifications. It doesn't mean anything. Would you rather be first? You could be first and best, but that's never the case. Not with virtually anybody that I know of in any company. Proper implementation of new technology takes time, and to do it right, there's an old saying even in the stock market on a new listing, you never want to be the first to jump in, and you never want to be the last to jump in. It's always bad to be a beta tester. Of course, that goes with any new camera, but this notion that Fuji is lagging behind, I'll take Fuji's lagging behind over somebody else's first any day. That's always a bug, always an issue, poor customer service, poor implementation, just half-arsed implementation. You know, no firmware updates to speak of. I mean, yeah, some Nikon and other companies do firmware updates when there's a glitch, you know, to fix something that isn't currently working perfectly. That's one type of firmware update. The other type of firmware updates is Fujifilm, who's, you know, you buy a camera like the X-T2 when it came out. That camera was a radically different camera. Many, many firmware versions later, I mean, damn, the X-T2's got a lot of new stuff in it. I mean, it's like a totally different camera. And people know to expect that from the stuff that they release. The customer service, the ecosystem, the high quality of lenses. There are really two psychologies behind what people want. You know, people jump on something because, oh my god, it's the latest, greatest. This is a new camera with new blah blah specification. Well, that's great. How are the lenses? How is the customer service? How is the reliability? How's the durability? How's firmware upgrade? How is the long-term service satisfaction and overall satisfaction over the long haul? Do you think that accounts for something? Some people think, you know, that doesn't matter. I just got to have the latest and greatest, you know? It's two totally different psychologies. Someone wants something, the best specifications. Someone wants something that's built right. It's a full spectrum unit with everything behind it. All the invisibles that you can't see when you hold a camera in your hand. The ecosystem, the service, the firmware, the warranty, everything. The implementation, the execution, the forethought into design. It's there's like the difference between well, there's so many differences. Anyway, it's kind of like Apple. Really, I mean, it's almost a perfect analogy. I mean, PC people are always bitching and moaning about, oh, Apple's not so fast. Well, if you're a gamer, you know, Apples aren't designed for gamers. Well, Apple's just too expensive. It's just not as fast. You know, not as fast as you know, the same kind of money I can get a really decked out PC with a zillion gigs of RAM. Isn't that great? Watch what happens when you try to sell that PC like 3 years later. No one will give you dirt for it. You sell a used Mac after 3 or 4 years, as long as you're taking good care of it. I mean, there'll be a lot of people bid on it. You get a decent price out of it because people want it. People don't want it because it's the fastest damn machine. They want it because of reliability, the design, everything. I mean, this isn't a perfect analogy, but I mean, Fujifilm. I'm not going to say Fujifilm is like the Macintosh or the Apple of the digital camera world, but there are a lot of similarities there, analogously. So, right now I'm ruminating. I hate to drive to Florida. I hate to drive to Florida. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in Florida. Yeah, can't wait to go to Florida. Florida. Florida, the festering armpit of... Florida is famous for two things. Yeah, no, cataracts and skin cancer. They say Florida is for the newlyweds and the soon-to-be-deads. Did you catch that one? Florida. Come get skin cancer and, yeah, skin cancer and cataracts. Oh well, catch you in Florida. Boom, bye.